We're with Rob Wallace, the 2nd Congressional District Democratic candidate. Thanks for being with us today.
You bet. Glad to be here.
In roughly a minute, kind of tell us why it is you're running and why you think you're the best person for the job.
Well, I think working folks need a voice in Congress. I think people are sick of R's and D's and reds and blues, and they want to get beyond the politics and get to solutions. And that's what I want to do. I want to go there and be a voice for working men and women from eastern Oklahoma and look for solutions that help people out here in the real world.
Let's talk a little bit about jobs and the economy, probably the biggest issue that there is out there in this election cycle. If you're elected, what can you do to help create jobs and boost the economy, particularly in the 2nd District?
Well, I'm the only candidate in the race that has a comprehensive jobs plan out on the internet, and I encourage you to take a look at robwallace2012.com and take a look at the jobs plan. It talks about the need to help small business be comfortable again expanding their payrolls. It talks about the use of water as a resource and protecting that resource in eastern Oklahoma to keep it here, to keep it here in quantity, and to keep it here clean so that it can be used to create manufacturing jobs here. It talks about making sure we're providing opportunities for our veterans that are coming home from war, that they have an opportunity to find a job right here in the district. It talks about the use of those personnel resources and those natural resources that we have here as a basis to draw manufacturing jobs here.
Let's talk a little bit about health care reform. Obviously, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the Health Care Reform Act. If you get elected, what do you think should happen with health care?
Well, you know, there are good things about that bill and there are bad things about that bill. I've got a 22-year-old son that has coverage because of that bill. I've got a 15-year-old daughter with a pre-existing condition that's going to be able to continue to have coverage as a result of the products in that bill. It's a bill, though, that I think was devised in the wrong direction. We went to big business and big insurance companies and said, what do you need? When we should have gone to consumers and said, what is it that you need in terms of coverage in your health care? And we should have taken that package to big business and let them bid it. What we did is we listened to voices of K Street lobbyists and folks that have been heard loud and clear on Capitol Hill for a long time. And folks in eastern Oklahoma, working folks, they don't have a voice up there now. And the health care bill is an example of how that process is working the wrong direction.
Let's talk a little bit about the national debt and the deficit. A lot of talk about that. If you get elected, what would you do to try to reduce that?
Well, there are a number of things that we can do in health care, for instance. We've got to bring health care inflation under control. One of the biggest items adding to the debt right now is the cost of inflation in health care and Medicare. If we can bring the health care inflation rate more in line with the inflation rate in the rest of the economy, we're going to take care of the problems with Medicare and Medicaid to a large extent, and we're going to put a big dent in the deficit. We've also got to get spending under control in other areas of the budget. I think we need a faster, more flexible, more technology-oriented fighting force. We need to make sure that the military is still the strongest and best equipped on the planet, but yet we need to make sure that it's also flexible and meets the need that we have on the battlefield. We need to be listening to the generals to determine what that is. So there's areas to be cut there as well.
Let's talk a little bit about Social Security. With each election cycle, we get a little closer to Social Security running out of money. What would you do to protect Social Security and make it viable?
You know, I try to lead a principled life, and my mama taught me this principle: when you make a promise, you keep it. We made a promise to our seniors in the form of Social Security and Medicare, and we need to work hard to keep those promises. We've got to maintain those programs for the people that have paid into them for their entire lives. Those are not entitlement programs, those are insurance programs, and they're programs that people have purchased over their working lives, and we've got to keep those promises. We've got to work hard to make sure there's longevity in those programs as well. I'm against privatization of Social Security. I'm against voucherization of Medicare.
The congressional approval rating at its lowest point ever is roughly around 12%. If you get elected, what can you do to make people trust Congress again?
Well, the problem people have with the Congress right now is it's not responsive to anyone out here in the real world. If you can afford a K Street lobbyist, you can have a voice on Capitol Hill. And that's the voice they're listening to. When you get government so far away from the people that they don't have to listen to the people anymore, then partisanship can become the #1 thing. And that's what's happened. People are sick of labels. They're sick of red and blue. They're sick of R&D, Republican, Democrat. What they want is people who will lead and people who will help find solutions to the problems out here in the real world. Right now, it's more important to score political points or to win the next political game than it is to find solutions for people. It's about getting on the Sunday morning talk shows instead of coming back to the district and finding out what people need and trying to find a way to meet that need.
All right, Rob Wallace, good luck. We'll leave it there.
Thank you.